Hey guys, it's Olivia here and you're watching another speed build on my channel. This one is for an open plan, open flow sort of house, but it's very modern. And I've had the idea in my head for quite a while, but I'd sort of tried building it, but it hadn't quite turned out the way that I wanted it to, so I sort of left it for a little while and came back. The concept is something that I've somewhat done before in a build that I haven't released yet for a family farmhouse, which I believe is in like Willow Creek or something, or Newcrest, sorry. No, Willow Creek. In the sense that not all some of the rooms don't have four walls, some of them are a bit more open plan. I kind of took that to the next level with this one, in the sense that I only really wanted rooms that I really felt needed to have walls so obviously, for example, the bathroom and probably the bedroom, but everything else I kind of wanted to be completely open. Originally this concept was like, I just had a really basic concept. I just had a rough outline of what I wanted the ground floor to look like, and originally I was only going to have one floor, and then I thought about, oh, you know, but you've got to have probably like a skill room and probably an office. So very quickly, as you can see, I realized I needed a second floor. So that the stairs are at the back, outside, and they go up to like a little mini deck that goes into the two rooms upstairs. I'm really, really proud of how this house turned out. I think it's probably the perfect house for your creative Sims. So it's not really a family home. Like, I mean, you could probably turn it into one if you wanted to, but I feel like I definitely built it for more of the adult Sims. Like your creative Sims, so like your artists, your musicians, your writers, you know, people that maybe spend a lot of time at home, even your YouTubers, you know. And they don't just want to be cramped up inside all day. They want the fresh air. They want you know, they want access to the outside without just, you know, the going out for a walk. Like, they want to be outside naturally. So that's kind of the concept I was going for with this build, and I think it came out even better than I could have hoped, in my personal opinion. I only had a very, very rough idea of what I wanted to do, and I feel like I just kept getting all these little ideas and they kept developing, and it just turned into something really cool. It is going to be quite a jutty kind of build, as I was experimenting around with a lot of stuff, especially in buy mode, just adding to the aesthetics of the house. So apologies if that's really frustrating for people. And I did have to speed it up quite a bit. These early parts are sped up to like 1,000 or 900% or something, just because otherwise we were going to be here all day, and I love to talk, but no one wants to listen to me bramble on for that long, so that's what I was trying to fix. So these slat walls are probably one of my favourite things to come out of the City Living expansion. That's probably a really weird thing to love from an expansion pack, but I feel like they add so much possibility to your builds. Like, I've used them only a few times so far, but I just absolutely love them, and I can't wait to see what I come up with and what other people come up with using them in their builds, because they're just so cool. I do wish they had a few more normal colours. I find that after sort of like black, grey and brown, they've got like red and brown, or red and black, and there's like a pink one, and I'm just not quite sure whether I'd ever need to use those colours, so that's kind of annoying. But other than that, I absolutely adore them. So I'm using the slat walls. I'm going to call them what, like slides? I don't even know what they call them, but I'm using them as kind of like makeshift walls, just to add a little bit of privacy in certain areas, and also as a bit of foundation for holding up the things on top. I didn't want to just have them completely open, and I didn't want them to be completely closed by putting like a deck or something upstairs. So what I did in the end was I created these kind of like shade awnings. If you've seen some of my houses on the gallery, you'll notice I usually use the very lowest wall height to create these kind of shade awnings, but This time I wanted it to be more of a flat thing rather than something quite thick, as if it was made of like really thick pieces of timber or something. So I'm really happy with how it turned out, and I hope you are too. So at the back you probably would have seen this thing here, which is basically a greenhouse. So the reason why I'm putting the slats in there as well is because I found it very frustrating that, you know, that the glass bit was kind of just like floating in the mid-air. Especially if you play with your walls down or half down, that would have been really obvious. So what I did instead was I put those in there so that it was a little bit harder to tell that it was basically just floating in nothing. It's also not completely closed up. I did edit out a lot of time just trying to get like the roofing to go around it to fit, but it just wasn't working for the size. It really needs to be more of like a teeny tiny part of a big roof, which I've seen. I think the Sim Supply did a like instructional video on his channel on how to do that, so that's where I got the idea of using it as like a glass roof. But for me, I wanted to build this greenhouse because I thought that would be like a cool little addition at the back, especially in a home that's so open plan. I felt like, you know, growing your own vegetables and things would probably be pretty high on your priority list in a house like this. So the kitchen is indeed outside, using the wall of that bottom room. So that room originally, when I first started building it, was going to be the bedroom. And right now, technically in my head, it still is the bedroom. But later on, I realized that it's massive. And I'm kind of, like, I plan to do like a home gym kind of hobby skill area and an office upstairs, and it just wasn't working. So I ended up flipping them around, and I'm actually really happy with how the bottom room comes out, but I'm not going to say any more. You just have to keep watching to see it. So I was playing around with the cabinets here, and I had to draw the walls into those slats so that I could get the cupboards to go where I wanted them to go, but then I would just delete them afterwards. So I'm actually really happy with how they turned out. I feel like they just add something extra, and I'm really happy with them. So I'm adding some lights to this sort of area underneath, just so it's not so dark. I think at this point there is only there's a big square open on top, but eventually I do add something extra in there, and I do that to both of them. So just adding in lots of little amenities to the kitchen, and moving on to outside. So this is where the dining room is going to be. So again, it's completely outside. Obviously, if The Sims 4 had seasons, so like if it rained and snowed and everything, this house would not work. I would have to build in some type of awning, or pretend maybe that something was like an adjustable shield or whatever, like how you sometimes see outside cafes and restaurants and things. But The Sims 4 doesn't have seasons, and so I didn't want to pretend like it did, because I felt like it was going to ruin the aesthetic of the house for what I was going for, especially since we wouldn't have those things that we might have had if The Sims 4 did have seasons, and maybe there would be some new objects and things to use. So the premise of this is that it's sunny 24/7, except when it is nighttime. And yeah. So I spent a lot of time trying to decide on the lighting I wanted to do out here. I didn't want to use like normal traditional like standing lamps, and obviously I couldn't do anything hanging, and not really anything on the wall either, in the sense that it wouldn't really light up that much space. So I added in those panels, which I think are from the Spa Day pack, and I'm really happy with how they turned out. I feel like they add not just light, which you need, but they add something extra to the slat walls, and kind of like it's almost like an artwork in itself. So here is where I'm adding in the extra bits, just to give it something else. The main reason I did that was because I felt like it would be very, very frustrating to be cooking and have the sun blaring down on you. And I also thought that the shapes might make a really cool shadow that you could sort of watch as the day went by. But yeah, that's just me maybe. I thought it was cool. Yeah. I'm really, really happy with this build, and I hope you guys like it as well. And I just wanted to say thank you so much to the people who have subscribed to my channel and to those of you who have watched my videos, whether it was one or all 50 something or something that I've made so far. It is so fun doing these videos, and I've been sort of playing with the idea of doing them for so long, and I'm so happy that I did, because I don't know about you, but 2016 has been a pretty rough year for me, and I love that in the midst of all the stuff that I've been going through, there's been this one thing that I've been able to really express myself on, and be able to create things and try new things and everything. So I really appreciate everyone who has ever watched even a second of my videos. So thank you so much. And I would love to know, to sort of get to know some of you a bit more. Like, so if you want to comment on any of my videos, like I'm so into just replying all the time. Like, I'll have a full-on conversation with you. It's just so exciting. I still can't believe that people would even want to watch my videos. So thank you so much. So I just changed the slat walls to the light brown color rather than the dark. I just felt that worked better. And you'll have noticed that I did a little thing up the top there with some sort of like half beamy things like I had up the front. I just thought it would be a cool little space to have, kind of like a moment to yourself away from the entertaining areas of downstairs. So eventually it gets set up as like a zen sort of area. So I just quickly did the lounge downstairs, but you'll see more of that later. And then this was the room that room there was the one that I was having trouble with, because I was like, oh, I can't just chuck in some like exercise equipment and like an easel and be done with it. It looks so strange. So eventually I do go back and delete all that stuff and turn that one into the bedroom. But for now, just adding a little bit of detail outside. So I think we move into all the landscaping stuff now. I really wanted this house to be, this whole lot, I really wanted it to be full and like a full house lot. So I do quite a bit of landscaping. It's not that major, but I mean, I like it. So this is me trying to play around with getting this gym thing to work, and very quickly I realized that it just wasn't. So I'm sure, like any other house it would have been fine, but it just didn't suit the layout that I had been doing, and I just didn't feel like it was right for the house anymore. So I changed it. I then used the slat walls of the two different heights kind of as like railing, a stairwell railing, because I really didn't want to put in another one that looked like the fence as well, because I just felt like it's quite an intense fence and I didn't really want to use it again. So I'm really happy that I did that, because I think it's something a little bit different and it looks kind of cool. So it's just a really excuse me, it's just a really simple office next door. And so here you can see that I've changed the bed. So I have edited this bit quite a bit, just because I was playing around with quite a few things, like changing the windows and different things, and I couldn't decide on the dresser that I wanted. But I actually really like how the wall sort of turns out. I put those two sort of side table, end table things. What are they called when they're the skinny version? I can't remember. And I have this like feature wall, which I quite like. So this kind of like, what colour would you call it? Like a dark violet? Mauve, maybe? I don't know. And I have that cool like sort of crystal rock light thing from City Living that I chuck in there as well. And some little candles as well to make it pretty. Some plants and things, and the easel, because as I said, I felt like this house would be perfect for someone who was creative. Then we've got the bathroom. Now, when I changed my mind and put the bedroom upstairs, I realized that the bathroom was now going to be downstairs. But I was like, you know what? It's fine. If people need to go to the bathroom in the middle of the night, too bad. I mean, you can't have a house that's like open plan like this and then get annoyed if you have to go outside to go to the bathroom, because it's not like I built them a dunny, which is like, I think it's like an Australian term, like an outhouse, which is, I think is probably what we call it more in New Zealand. Just like a toilet that's outside and it's just the toilet usually. All it makes me think about is my a family member of mine lives like way out in the wops of New Zealand, like just in the jungle basically, and he has an outhouse. He has a toilet outside, and I hated it as a kid because it terrified me, because there was cobwebs and spiders and bugs, and I just felt like they were all creeping and crawling all over me, and I just hated it. But yeah, so this became a kind of reading room / entertaining room downstairs. I'm actually completely in love with this room and how it turned out. I think I might even upload it just as a room to the gallery because I just think it's so beautiful. One thing I will note is that the white fluffy rug that I upscaled, I had trouble, like I couldn't click on it again to move it. So hopefully that has fixed itself, or will fix itself when I upload it. If I do, I think I probably will. Because that's really weird. I found that really strange. But if you do want to find any of the builds that I've done before, or well, anything really, because most things, unless they're full of custom content, I upload to the Sims 4 gallery, and my name there is LivyBlivySims. I don't usually do the custom content stuff just because I find it very frustrating, because you can't download it. Like, I don't get why people upload it unless you only use a few things and you put links to them underneath so people can download it themselves. But I mean, in my case, if I'm going to use custom content, I go all out. You know, like some of my Sims would have no normal Sims clothes or anything. They'd be all custom content. So never mind. So I've changed that room quite a bit. Originally I had the bookcases, and then I had a different type of bookcase, and now I've added in this grand piano and this beautiful fireplace that came with the City Living expansion. I think it did. Did it? I can't remember now. I don't use fireplaces very much, so I can never remember. I'm pretty sure it did, but if it didn't, never mind. And now we're moving on to the landscaping. So I put these trees out and about. I think we get one around the back sort of as well. And I never used to do this much landscaping. I never used to bother. I don't know why, because I feel like it totally makes a house now. And ever since doing my haunted house estate speed build, which you can find on the gallery, and the 3 videos of the speed builder on my channel, I'd never done anything like it before. And ever since, I'm obsessed with making these gardens like super luscious and fun, and just really bright and colourful. Like I could just totally see, you know, these Sims would just like chill in the garden, or like come out of the greenhouse after doing some gardening work, and I just love it. I did edit it down a little bit, but not too much, just because it's fun. I like watching it. You're seeing this garden appear before your eyes. I also found it really frustrating that on this lot there was that little frog thing on the side there, because it kept popping into view, and I was like, "Argh!" But yeah, never mind. I'll get over it. One thing that I did discover about this build, though, when I went to save the lot to the gallery, was that I'd built it facing the way that I did, but when I tried to save it, obviously the front of the lot was actually a different side, so it ended up showing a side view of the house. So you'll notice towards the end, and possibly some of the screenshots at the end, will be different, because I end up having to turn it 90 degrees to the left so that it's facing out that way, because otherwise the image of it when I put it on the gallery was going to be this yucky side view of a house, which didn't make any sense to me whatsoever. So yeah. But obviously you can, you know, you can change it however you want it to be. It didn't really make too much difference. It did make kind of like a little rock face that I built on the edge look a bit weird, because it ends up being next to the sidewalk rather than just next to more grass area. But I figured it didn't matter, because you guys will put it, you know, in your own lot if you want to, and it could be completely different again. So I decided to change that room to like a nice wood slots, the same ones that I use in the bedroom, just to sort of tie it all through together as well. Plus it's just so clean looking. I love it. And now I'm just kind of doing some final touches on the bedroom, and we're going to move into the screenshots. There are quite a few just because I'm just so happy with this house. So here's the front view. The back garden, which I love it so much. Look at that garden and look at that house. Ah! I just would love to live here. Like, I'm not even an outdoorsy type of person, but I just feel like this house is perfect for just having, like, just entertaining and having friends over and having a good time, and just it's like a chill house, you know? Super relaxing. I love it. So that's walking up the stairs into the sort of living area. This is here. And I really like that, you know, it's super simple. It's just a couple of chairs, a painting, and a TV, and you're good to go, you know? So here's the downstairs room, which I love. I love how it turned out. I just think it's so clean, but it looks so inviting and comfortable and warm. Oh, loving it. And the bathroom, I haven't used that bathtub in so long, and I was like, I'm gonna do it. So I did. And here's the office upstairs. So there's a few more screenshots to go, but I just wanted to say thank you so much for watching, and I hope you guys enjoyed this build. I really, really, really loved building it. So look for it up on the gallery. It'll be under LivyBlivySims, and you've got a couple of bird's eye views of the layout as well. So thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed it, and we will catch you for the next one. Bye!